John, so my question to you is that very often people, when they're under stress, pain, fear, anxiety, which is very much overwhelmed, what happens to parents with children with special needs, and even more so early on when they find out their child has a problem, there's a tendency to either self-blame and feel guilt and other blame. So you say, to be gentle when you communicate. Do you have any tip to people how to recognize when they're about to attack or blame, even unintentionally, their partner, and try to download the discomfort and shift to a different way of communicating?
When you have a child with special needs, there's so much frustration and anxiety, and quite often as parents we start to feel like it's our fault. Something's wrong with us, or we tend to blame out to our partners. This is called defensiveness. And everybody, whether you have special needs children or not, when you're under a lot of stress, we tend to become more defensive. It's important to recognize that when we're defensive, we tend to give a message to our partner of criticism and blame. And we can soften that. We can learn how to soften what it sounds like, and we can learn how to soften what we're saying by adding a few buffer phrases. A buffer phrase sound like this. I didn't mean to sound so critical. I want to take a moment to let you know what I do appreciate, but I also want to share what's going on inside of me. That's one of the messages. If my wife, for example, was sounding critical to me, she's complaining about something or talking about discomfort, or we're disagreeing on something, and I start to feel criticized, I can simply say something like, honey, I know you don't mean to sound critical, but it's starting to sound like I don't do anything right. So let's pause for a moment and just tell me the good things I do. And she'll take a few minutes to say the good things I do, and then I say, okay, we can come back to our conversation. Because it's so easy to take things personally, and we all feel at times of defensiveness that we fail, that we're not good enough, and we don't want to push those buttons. So out of love for each other, and also out of wisdom to have good communication, we can use these buffering statements like, okay, that makes sense, but let's take a moment to look at the good things that I'm doing, and then let's come back to this discussion. And that will make it so much easier.